And we're going to do a very quick segment that I call generic questions. Those of you that have seen my interviews before will know this is where I ask my guests their favorite match, favorite pay per view, favorite tag team, favorite wrestler's theme, and favorite wrestler of all time. Basically, questions that Sean might get asked on social media quite regularly. So now he'll have a
Yeah.
place to be like, look, I've answered
Yeah.
this.
I love that.
Please go watch this. So, what's your favorite match of all time?
My favorite match of all time, if I had to pin down one, I would say Christopher Daniels, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, TNA Unbreakable '05. Like that was the first time I watched a match and I thought, well, that was a perfect match. Like that was the first time that I did that. My favorite that I've ever seen in person is FTR Briscoes at Supercard last year, especially considering what we know happened.
What about your favorite pay per view?
Now, see, that's tough because I can't necessarily, in my mind, look back at a single pay per view and just remember the entire card.
I
But
can. So
anytime,
if you can name a match, I might be able to help you.
sure. But I mean, like, anytime people ask my favorite WrestleMania, I say 19 because I thought the card was absolutely loaded. I've got a soft spot for Royal Rumble '07 because of the way that the show or the Rumble match ended. But I would probably have to say WrestleMania 19 because I thought it was a bridging of so many eras right there. And the way that WrestleMania looked in 2002 and looked in 2004 are so different. And I thought that 2003 was a great bridging of that gap.
I've never heard Mania 19 described like that, but I think that's a perfect analogy.
Yeah, I mean, you get Hogan and Vince, which is just such a wild thing to have on that show. Rock and
Grandpa
Austin.
Deathmatch.
Yeah. Triple H and Booker T, even though Booker T should have won that. Jericho, who is still wrestling against Shawn Michaels. Trish and Victoria and Jazz, and they actually got time. There's a lot on that show that I liked, especially the lower half of that show. The back half of that show was just unreal.
What about your favorite wrestler's theme of all time?
I probably have to say Batista, the Saliva theme. I like
Saliva
an awful. The I Walk Alone theme. That one was probably my favorite, and I liked Saliva's music in general. But then when it switched from his generic rock theme to what he had that absolutely slapped, I was like, man, that's so good. It was just a good Saliva song in general. I also like Victoria's old theme that they did with Tattoo. I thought that one was really good because that was her theme before it was a hit song. So that was pretty cool.
That's cool. And then who's your favorite wrestling tag team?
The Rockers, because that was my first favorite anything ever was the Rockers. I liked Marty Jannetty, and Shawn Michaels was all right too. Again, I'm sure I watched this actually like 2 years later and thought that they were breaking up at the moment. But when they broke up and I saw it, I was just mortified and heartbroken and all that stuff. But the Rockers by far, because I think that they helped change tag team wrestling.
That's really cool. And again, I should stop saying I agree, but I agree. And then finally, as we wrap this up, who is your favorite wrestler?
Man, if we're going all time, that's so tough because every time somebody asks me, I feel like I have a different answer. I think my favorite person to watch what they do specifically in the ring ever is actually Shelton Benjamin. Like, I saw what he did and I was like, I want to be able to do that stuff. So I would work on my box jumps and I would go train amateur wrestling, or I would work on how I would do a super kick. I think Shelton Benjamin is probably my favorite too, because I feel like there's still so much that we didn't see that we should have seen from him. But I would say he's probably my favorite. Also, Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné is a personal favorite of all time.